What's up, everyone? Welcome to another week of What You're Missing. It's going to be a short week as far as the video is concerned. Not a lot of news articles jumped out at me, or I wasn't grabbed by them, I guess I could say. There was a lot of news in the last week, but it's just my take on it. So I'm just going to jump right into it. The first article I found talked about how the PC gaming market was about twice that of the console gaming market as far as revenue is concerned. So the PC gaming market made something like $21.5 billion in 2013. So for those of you that think that consoles are all there is and that the glorious master PC gaming race is a myth, it may be a myth just in the sense that, other people can be glorious too, I guess. But yeah, the numbers don't lie and the revenues are literally twice that, and that's Xbox, PlayStation, and Wii all combined. So it's not that just just Xbox is half. No, all three combined, half of PC gaming. That's all I'm going to say on that. I've posted the picture on my blog before of the radiant PC gaming master race guy with his hair and the peasantry playing consoles. You can go find it. It's a good picture. Next up, the next Mass Effect will bring Mako back, which is the little like six-wheeled rover thing that you drove in the first one. And I gotta say, I'm pleased about this. I'm both pleased and concerned. So my concern comes from the fact that I really enjoyed Mass Effect 1. And part of what I really enjoyed about it was driving around in that fucking truck. But I lost so much time driving around in that fucking truck, just aimlessly sort of driving across the barren landscapes of one planet or another looking for ore or secret bases or all that stuff. I'm kind of a completionist when it comes to map exploration and planetary exploration. When I played Mass Effect 2, I don't know, even though they took away Mako, they put in this thing where you could like scan planets for mining. And I spent a lot of time just like looking for signals from different ore types, and yeah, it took its place. So I'm a little concerned that its implementation will be not great, because those two weren't great. They were just sort of time consuming, and I felt through my own odd compulsions like I needed to do them. And in some weird way, I really enjoyed it, obviously because I missed it in the second game. But anyway, it'll be back, and so will planetary exploration. It'll be interesting to see where that goes and what they do with that, and even what the next Mass Effect looks like. I know, some of you are saying, but Sisyphus, you didn't finish Mass Effect 3. How can you even talk to us? How can you look us in the eyes and even have an opinion? Well, someday I'll finish it, and when that day comes, then we can talk about it. Talk about the ending and how horrible it apparently is. I don't know. Next up, Game of Thrones. So this isn't so much video game related, at least not directly. So all of it is. Part of it is. Alright, so I'm just going to jump into it. So Maisie Williams is the girl that plays Arya Stark. I really like her. I didn't read the books, but I watched the show, so I'm basing my opinion on the characters off of what I see off of the HBO special. So Maisie Williams is in talks to play Ellie from The Last of Us in the Last of Us movie. I kind of like this. I like Maisie Williams, or at least what I've seen of her in Game of Thrones, and I think she could make a good Ellie. So yeah, so we'll see how that goes from there. Speaking of Game of Thrones, somebody tweeted today that Game of Thrones is now a big enough phenomenon that there are actually people in the world who believe that winter lasted for years back in the Middle Ages, or the medieval ages, or whatever age, like 1,000 years ago, or a few hundred years ago, whatever. Okay, you get what I'm saying. The people actually now are believing or thinking that back in the time where people actually used swords and armor, that winter came and didn't leave for years. So there's a question on OkCupid that asks what is bigger, and then it gives you a list of the sun, an elephant, and then one other thing which is not bigger than the sun. And so I guess this is just indicative of how terrible our education system is, that people would actually believe that this was true or even possible. Um, yeah, so do with that what you will. Next up, and lastly, women in the gaming industry. So I talk about this a lot, and it's an important topic. Not just their representation, but the article that I read last week was about their compensation. And this talked about how women are compensated 14% less, or they earn 14% less for the same jobs in the gaming industry than men do. And so this is a problem that obviously needs to be remedied. And it is indicative of a greater issue that affects our society. But that said, the gaming industry is actually better than the American just general job market as a whole, which sees a 23% difference in pay for the same position. So I guess props to the gaming industry for being a little better, but not still on par. So what I want to say is that while it's clear that there are a lot of problems, and we talk about them every week, and we probably will continue to talk about them every week, but part of why I get to talk about them every week is that there are journalists out there who report on it every week, that there's something to be said for at least these people are doing the journalism behind it, right? So I'm reading about it because somebody's looking into it, and I think that's good. That's sort of, I think, the first step. Beyond that, obviously, we need the game developers and the people doing the hiring and the people playing the games and buying the games to also make the change. But yeah, I think that's a start, and it's got to start there, and people need to pay attention, and change needs to happen. So that's all I've got for this week. I appreciate you tuning in, turning on to the... Anyway, hit the subscribe button, whether it's over here, or down there. I don't know. The button, it's red. You should click it, and then you'll see what I'm doing. I'm trying to change up the site to make video gaming a bit more prominent, or at very least easier to follow or easier to find. I may separate out the links to these videos into their own posts, so it's not like me talking about shiny rocks and then adding a video of video game news at the end, because shiny rocks don't always segue smoothly into video games. Sometimes, I guess, if you're playing the rock simulator, they do, but that's a very specific case. So that's all I've got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Or tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.